Didn't you hear? Odysseus Island has gone missing. Seriously. If you didn't know, Ithaca in Greece does not correspond to the description of Odysseus Island. You see, it has to be last low and to the west. And look at this. Ithaca is here, right? Ithaca is not the last island to the west. And also, it's hard to call it low. Let me show you here. This is a mountainous island in Greece. And there is another higher island to the west of it. That does not coincide with the description of Ithaca. So since antiquity, a lot of people have been looking to see where is the real Ithaca. I know a lot of American students do not hear this in school and in college. They just discuss the Odyssey and the Iliad as though they were some kind of literary fiction. It's not. That is history in those books, especially the Iliad, but part of it in the Odyssey too. So it's worth taking serious because it's worth studying history. If you don't study your history, you're doomed to repeat it. Well, the good parts might not be so bad. But so let's see what I did here. I'll tell you. First things first, you have to know when you're looking for it because the map changes. And it's got to do with the destruction of Troy, right? So here we have the different layers of Troy. And obviously in archaeology and geology, we put them in chronological order. Lowest down, newest, highest up. Old low, new high. And the one that matches the siege and destruction is this one, Troy 2. Nowadays, everybody seems to assume that the Trojan War was this destruction. 1180 BC. It was not. The destruction here does not agree, does not jive. It cannot have been this. It must have been this, Troy 2. And this was about 2250 BC, 2300 maybe. So based on that, and also based on the theory of Filippo Vinci that the Greeks came from a northern homeland, Hyperborea, which he has placed in Scandinavia. I looked at the map of Scandinavia at that time, and I specifically started to look for a place where there had been 3 islands and 1 island lowest to the west that matched. There is no such place today, but when taking into account the sea level rise and the land uplift, here on the Swedish west coast, the land uplift has been faster than the sea level rise. So at that point of time, this island, which is now 1 island, shown, back then it was 3 islands. Here I digitized the 15-meter contour because the sea level was about 10 to 15 meters higher back then. I did this over 20 years ago because today it would be simple to download the data for free, but back then data was not free. I had to do it that way. So I identified the location, the hypothesis for the location of Ithaca as this part of Tjörn over 20 years ago. But then it takes time to check this. And I'll show the place to you. But it was not just enough to find one place, of course. I wanted to find all the places to get the whole puzzle of the Homeric world. Because only when you can make it match better in Scandinavia than in Greece, you can be rather confident that you found the original homeland of the Achaeans. So what I did was, after having one location shown, I started to look at where had Telemachos, the son of Odysseus, gone when he went to visit Menelaus of Sparta, the husband of Helena. And based on the description of the journey, I calculated he had gone first by boat and then by horse. So, Tjörn being an island, he could have gone either way. And he could have gone south or he could have gone across to Denmark. But then he had to go by land. So, based on the description, I decided it had to be down towards this direction. Northwestern Scania and Skåne and Sweden. And approximately 200 kilometers, but of course with a wide range of uncertainty. So around here should be where Sparta was, and Lacedaemon. And then going back, he shifted from boat to horse in Pylos, Nestor's place. And that should be more or less halfway. So he had to change mode of transport there. And then based on that, I came up with a hypothesis for where Sparta had been, which is, it's outside of the map. Let me see if I can get it in here. Here, this is a likely place for Sparta. Bostar and the surroundings here. And there is a place where, when I went to see it, I found things that made me think that yes, this is the place. And Lacedaemon would be this, Laholmsbukten, Laholmsslätten, which seems to be the same word that has survived, and that has survived in the name of this river, Lagan. And then based on having the two endpoints of the journey and knowing that the Pylos should be more or less in between, I found a place that matches. Fieros, which is apparently cognate to Pylos, and which is, it also matches the semantics of the word, because Pylos is a gate, and this was a gate back then. A gate, there's a long lake here, so it's a gate where you can go from transport on sea to lake up here, and also if you come on land to cross. So that was apparently a reloading station, and there have been some archaeological finds here that definitely confirm this. So Fieros was Pylos. And then, based on that, having found it, I went to Ithaca, Tjörn, to look for all the places that were mentioned in the Iliad. And let me show you some of what I found there. So, the description of Ithaca in the Iliad and the Odyssey contains a lot of place names. And I mapped them out on the map, all the places that are mentioned in the list of ships, and how they merge up to Fieros and Pylos, Nestor's place. And the island where the suitors were waiting for Telemachos in order to kill him when he returned, I mapped out where the journey, here, over here it is. It's off the map, I have to zoom out a bit, I think. Here. The route that Telemachos took, he was normally supposed to take this route, and they were waiting here. So on the advice of Athena, the goddess, he took this route and went ashore here in Korakos Petre, which is today called Korevik. And there he went up to the place where the swineherd of Odysseus had the swine, in Aretusa, where Odysseus was already. This is in the Odyssey, right? And he asked the swineherd to go to his mother to inform her that he had returned and where he was. Oh, here this panorama shows where he walked. And then the swineherd walked this from here. He walked this trail. I've been up here and checked out all of this. Over here and up here to the house of Odysseus. And then when he walked back, he did not go down to the city, not to lose time. He walked straight back, and when he was on the ridge of Hermes, which I will show you why it's called like that, because here you cannot go below it. This is the sea as it was back then. And there is no place to go below it, or wasn't, now there is. So he must have walked above it, and there is no forest. So he saw down here when the boats came in, and he saw the boat of the suitors with all the weapons come in. So he knew they had returned. I also went up here, I can show you, this is where Odysseus' house was. It's called Odyssey slot today, and slot, I have derived linguistically the origin of that word to close. It was a closed place here. There is a stair they had to go up here. These are the points where you could go up. You can go up there now today. I went up here first because I didn't know about the stair there. And because they've fallen down. They had made walls, but they'd fallen down. And over here, there was a lake in the past. They drained it with a channel. Now you can see the channel on the DTM, but there was a lake at the time. And now there is a reservoir down here, which was not back then. That was probably fields back then. And over here was the harbor. So now you drive on this road here and you will have to find some place to park and walk up this way. So when you get up to the place, here's the Odyssey slot. And on the western edge is this place. That is pure paradise. I slept a night there. It's wonderful. And on this stone, you can see it here too, that would have been a table, what they called an altar, where you did kill the animals and so. And below it, they had direct access to water and a vertical cliff. Let's see here. Yeah, it's vertical. So if you stood here, you could throw down a bucket and get water up from below. Absolutely paradise, this place. And here is a couple of photos from the east and western end. So, I didn't mention everything I found. There is also the cave when he came back from the Phaeacians, and they let him ashore. They left him ashore with the things they gave to him, according to this skipper's tale. It's a sailor's yarn, and but that cave is there. Exactly as the description in the Odyssey. That cave is on the island of Tjörn and by Nerinthos, the mountain there. Everything matches. There have been many proposals for where Tjörn was in the world. And this is the first time I've seen a place that matches the description to the dot. Well, I wrote about this. What I've showed you here is from my book, Finding Achaia, available for sale. And as you can see here, this is a petroglyph of a boat from not too far away from here in Bohuslän. Because, and this is mind-blowing, the Odyssey and the Iliad do not deal with Bronze Age Greece. Period. They deal with what in Sweden was at the time the Stone Age. Down in Anatolia they had already Bronze Age, early Bronze Age. But here the archaeologists call this the Stone Age. They lived here in the Stone Age and they sailed down to Anatolia and sacked Troy. And this here is where Odysseus lived, the man who created the Trojan horse. How about that?